This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
He looks old, he looks inaccurate, but I've seen better quarterbacks, okay? I'm just going to say that.
He was dinking and dunking, even compared to his dinking and dunking prime. He was dinking and dunking.
That's what we do for right here.
If anyone's going to get blown out, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks.
He's playing better than anyone right now. He's going to be the MVP, and I think he, along with Devontae Adams, will carry that Packers team to the Super Bowl.
I think Rodgers is great, and I think that's why the Packers win, Brandon.
Here's 20. Packers go on to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady cries like a little baby and doesn't shake Aaron Rodgers' hand like the sore loser he is.
I expect to see some temper tantrums from Tom Brady.
I like the Packers in that game. Seen firsthand what Aaron can do, and I think he's the biggest factor in this game.
But I can't pick Tom Brady this week.
That bad man, the brother, and when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, who I believe to be the greatest talent at the quarterback position ever, okay, ever.
I love him.
What is it?
He's the greatest, man. Listen, he is the greatest. Aaron Rodgers is that dude, man.
Rodgers better not lose. That's what I'll say. He better not lose.
And I want you to imagine Tom Brady getting sport kicked right down it, because this is our house. Aaron Rodgers has never had an NFC Championship game at home. The only thing standing in front of another Super Bowl berth is Tom Brady. But I'm ready to kick their ass.
Did he kick it off? Did he kick it off?
But let's move on to the NFC Championship game. The amount of bias and excuses for one guy versus the hate for the other is highly apparent in this game. Now, remember when I said no one cared that Rodgers threw a pick 6 in the regular season matchup? 2 timeouts and a 1st and 10. Rodgers has a lot of options here. He knows he's getting the ball in the second half, so here, just don't let them have the ball back, right? A field goal would be nice, but just not letting them have it is pretty sufficient, I think. It's a 14-10 game after all. Now, he could try to go for getting into field goal range, but he'll need to use his timeouts. If they fail to get a first down, there will be still time left on the clock. You could punt, and then the Bucs' field position would be so bad that they would most definitely just run the clock out and go into half. So, all Rodgers has to do here is not screw it up. What does he do? Well, he has his tight end and running back to dump it off to, but instead he opts to try to let the play develop and then takes a sack. Brady in Super Bowl 36 and 38 comes to mind here, where he took the simplest play instead of the biggest one. Perhaps Aaron didn't see either of those targets, so we'll just give him a pass on this one. But how about the next play, 2nd and 18? Situation is a bit more difficult now, but still, being smart matters here. This is where the stupid really comes in. Now, I don't know if Aaron called the play or if the play was sent in by Matt LeFleur. It's a 2-minute situation, so I would assume that Aaron called it, but we can't be too sure. But sending all of your receivers on go routes was pretty damn dumb. There is no need to put the ball in the air in this situation. This is a Madden call. This is one of those times where you're playing some jackass in Madden who chooses 4 verticals every damn play. Remember, it's not as much about scoring here as it is about not screwing something up. Why isn't Aaron getting out of that play? This is the time to go for something smaller. Aaron never even looks at the right side of the field. He completely ignores his tight end, who, despite the stupid call, and the Bucs being in the right defense for this, still has a great chance of making a huge play here. Now, Aaron completely ignores him. He eye-fucks his receiver the entire way. And to make matters worse, the Bucs defender isn't even hidden. He's riding the hell out of him. He's right with him. Why do you throw that ball? Okay, where's the outrage for this? So why am I pointing this out? All right, because people have been eating Brady's lunch for his picks in the second half and completely ignores the relevance of each one compared to this one. Unlike touchdowns, not all interceptions are equal. They are about when they are thrown and then the result of what the opposing team quarterback does. I wouldn't even be pointing this out if it wasn't for all the crap Brady gets for any little thing he does. And people want to say that Murphy Bunting held Lazard right before the ball got there. Okay, yeah, he did. But as the quarterback, you can't rely on hoping penalties will save you. It doesn't mean the decision can be forgiven. Now, let's take a look at what happens next. Brady is in complete control at this point. Again, situation is different. Brady, 27 seconds left. 1st and 10 near the 50. Now, suddenly, Brady is in the exact situation Rodgers was in. Now, this is perfect because now we have a mirror of how to manage this situation. Brady is now the one with the 2 timeouts, and he's looking for a free field goal, knowing that the Packers get the ball in the second half. 2-minute drill. Brady chooses the safest option. He hits his running back 4 net for a 7-yard gain. Boom. That's something that Aaron should have done. This is good, okay? Because he knows he has 2 more downs, 3 potentially, to just get 3 yards. So now he can take some risks. 22 seconds left. 2nd down and 3. Brady tries to hit Evans right past the 1st down marker. Where? Right at the sidelines where he can get out of bounds and he's already on the outside of field goal range. Great decision here. Unfortunately, it's an incomplete pass. I'm going to assume this route was a 5-yard comeback for the 1st down and Evans overran by 2 yards. So, just a mishap here. However, safe, harmlessly goes out of bounds. No problem. Remember, this is about safety in these situations. 3rd down and 3. 18 seconds left. You need to think about getting closer. If you do go deep, make sure it's deep enough to where if it's picked off, the Packers have no choice but to kneel down. So no harm done to the Bucs. Okay, so he saw his guy one-on-one. He gave him a chance. And although Brady didn't throw a great ball here, either way, it was intended as a jump ball. It was nearly picked, but would have amounted to nothing at that point. The Packers defender simply drops it. But look at this. Superman goes to the sidelines, telling Arians he wants to go for it. Come on, coach, we'll go for it. Thinks he's not going to win the argument, so they put his coat on him, and he thinks the half is over. Okay, fine, no big deal. Packers will go, and they'll just kneel it. Suddenly, Arians agrees with Brady. He's called back, throws off his coat. Let's get this done. Now, I was surprised by this call. So many things can go wrong here. If there's a sack fumble or a pick close to the line of scrimmage, the Packers could potentially get back into field goal range. So now that Brady is in this 4th down predicament, he has to make the most of it. Most of us would assume he's going mid-range, considering only 13 seconds left and 1 timeout. But what does he do? He hit flash. 0 style points, just a simple 3-yard 1st down. If it wasn't 4th down, Brady may have opted to hit Gronk at the sidelines, unless unless Gronk had the option and Brady didn't know which direction he would choose. But Brady was about to get sacked, so he had to decide quick, and he couldn't wait for that to develop if in fact it was Gronk's route. That first down would make a 57-yard field goal try. Not great, but possible. And at the very least, with your timeout, you have time to think about what you want to do. No matter what, this was about not letting the Packers get it back as well. So it's already a victory so far. 8 seconds left. No timeouts. We all know what's going to happen here. If you're going deep, it has to be for the end zone. So if it's incomplete, you still had time to kick the long field goal. Or you could hit the sidelines to get your kicker in closer range. Again, situational football, you have the options.
Down Tampa Bay at the
See Scotty Miller burst after the first few yards. The Packers defender is slightly awkwardly getting turned around to stay in man on him. It's just a slight thing, but just enough. And at this point, Brady is confident Miller will win the foot race. Brady knows this is a win-win-win. It's either a touchdown, an incomplete pass, or an interception for a touchback that means nothing. But hey, it's a touchdown. All right, cool. The commentators are making a big deal out of it, but if you break it down, it makes perfect sense. Look at the difference here. Mirror situations, completely different execution and results. And this entire time, for both quarterbacks, it should have been only about the path of least resistance and no dumb mistakes. That's it. At this point, the game is so close. This was at a point where every field goal seemed to matter. Points were at a premium. So I'm not saying his decision making always would lead to a touchdown. That was the best outcome. But I'm saying no matter what the outcome was, he made the right decisions in this sequence. No matter what was going to happen on that last play. And like I said, it's about when these things occur. When you threw the interception. Brady was the field general in that sequence all the way. Rodgers' interception gave the Bucs a jolt, and the result, for now, really put a dagger in them.
Look, the biggest reason the Bucs won, I will say, is, the pass at the end of the half. The pass to Scotty Miller. That was Tom Brady just undermining the Green Bay Packers defense. Now, Green Bay in that moment, they was thinking field goal. They was thinking that Tampa Bay wanted to try to get a field goal, but Tom, being the GOAT, and this is the reason he's the GOAT and the greatest of all time, he recognized the man coverage. He recognized what they was trying to do. And he snuck one in. It was like throwing a Hail Mary, but it was throwing a Hail Mary within a concept. And the concept was Scotty Miller one-on-one with King. He recognized it, and they beat him.
And that takes us to the... Okay, now, I don't know who called this play, but this whole forcing the ball to Evans ends up way too often with something bad happening. He's a lot like Michael Thomas. They just simply don't have the same dogfight mentality as a lot of other receivers do. I'm not saying that they don't fight for the ball sometimes, but I would like to see them more desperate to try to make sure that the defender doesn't get it. Now, this was a bad decision by everyone involved, but especially Brady. There was nothing there. That being a completion was less than 5%. But remember, at this point, Brady is sitting on a good lead, and his head coach admitted later that he was trying to go for the jugular. So they were you are being paid millions of dollars. Your job is to catch a football. Your quarterback puts the football right in you. You catch it.
Watch. Catch. Catch. Not. That was a tutorial on how to catch a football.
Okay, so now you would think that the Bucs need to do what the Packers have been doing. A good, slow drive, giving your defense a necessary rest. They're exhausted at this point, right? Okay, good start by the book. But then the fourth quarter comes and let the stupid commence. This is the point where Arians thinks he can win this and is picturing all the celebration afterwards and the interviews and wants to be able to say he won this doing it his way, which is inexplicably throwing it deep for no fucking reason. Another forced deep throw to Evans. Come on. But this pass is perfect. And another bad result with Evans dropping it. He's just not gritty enough, man. So that's 2 now with Evans involved. 3rd and 8. It's time just to get the first down, please. A beautiful play for the first down. Brady hits the rookie. There's a lot to be said for guys who just want to play and is not only worried about their stats and their paycheck. Situation: field goal range has already been achieved. Only take the open guys. No unnecessary risks. Brady sees Evans. Perfect opportunity. Take it. Boom. He hits him a little too high. This pass needed to be down just a bit. Evans tips it off his hands. It gets picked off. Those tipped passes are obnoxious. But again, now that's Aaron's defense getting him the ball back for the second straight time. Aaron has to make something happen here. It's about situation. Brady still has the lead. He can afford to do this. Rodgers must make him pay for those mistakes. But the offense stalls. Does nothing. The Bucs D, they're just too much for him. Now, they have to get the ball back to Tom. Opportunity pissed away by Rodgers. Brady with the ball back, doing exactly what needed to be done. It's going well. 3rd and 2. Should be an easy pickup. Safe, easy call here. But no, let's send 3 receivers on go routes. Yay! Perhaps they thought it was 3rd and 33 because this is one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen in my lifetime watching football given the situation. You've already thrown 2 picks, your defense is exhausted, but they were still able to force a punt. It's now time for the Bucs offense to get back into this. Help them out. Now, Arians claims that Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, made the call. I'm not so sure about that. I think it was Arians. Tom needed to check out of this. It was completely unnecessary. But did you notice? A 4th bad result involving Evans as the target. Enough of this bullshit. It's true. The running back here completely missed his block. Okay, but still, after this many disasters, you have to wonder why you're still going after Evans like this. This is one of those rare cases where you see Brady just make a completely boneheaded decision in the pre-snap. All right? But again, Brady is still the one with the lead. It's still the burden of Rodgers to make them pay for their mistakes. Until the Packers do this, Brady can afford to keep making these mistakes. He's in the better position to do it. It's all about situation. Because of Rodgers' pick at the end of the first half, the game is still out of reach for them. Rodgers' pick has still continued to be, up until this point, after 3 Brady interceptions, Rodgers' 1 pick at the end of the half still seems to be the defining factor. Rodgers gets stopped again. So now, that's 2 Brady picks in a row that are rendered meaningless. All right? This is why context matters. Brady's pick ends up with a Rodgers touchdown. That puts them even. However, Rodgers' pick was more costly. Brady's 2nd and 3rd picks, they no longer matter. They are irrelevant by the time Brady gets the ball with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left. So yeah, they look cute on the scoreboard for anybody who wants to hate, okay? Fine. But they have different meanings. Interceptions mean something different, unlike touchdown passes. Rodgers couldn't make anything happen with those sequences occurring. Slow, precise, and careful. That dump off to Gronk, I've seen that play 1,000 times in New England. Now they're in field goal range. Brady now has Godwin wide open for the first down, but Brady overthrows him. Not sure what that was all about, but that throw was garbage. I'm pretty sure Brady would agree. His next pass, the field goal matters now. He knew a sack at this point would be terrible. He throws it into the dirt. What happened here? Originally, during the game itself, when the game was live, I thought it had slipped out of Brady's hands. And Peyton Manning was talking about this play. And he said that Godwin's reaction indicated that the ball was snapped too soon. And Brady knew that this play was screwed. So he just dumped it so they could go for a field goal and not have anything bad happen. Smart play on his part. So yeah, he just throws it to the dirt. Field goal is good. Smart Patriot football. Anti-Bruce Arians football. Great kick by Suckup. All right, now it's time for the bad man. All right, remember, he's everything Brady can't be. He's the bad man. It's perfect. He's at home. He gets the ball at the 34. Surely an MVP can easily make this work. Due to the Bucs' offensive stupidity, that Bucs defense is tired as hell. This couldn't be a better situation for Rodgers. Remember the last time this happened? Doesn't this seem familiar, guys? Remember when there was a guy in the Super Bowl down by 8? Needed to go all the way down to the field. He didn't get to start at the 34. He started right in his own goal line. And he knew he had to get all the way down and still would have to get a 2-point conversion. The touchdown wouldn't be enough. But he saw that the Falcons defense was dead tired and he exploited that. He knew it. He's like, we've got this. So this is Rodgers' situation. He has an entire field wide open to run it, but for some strange reason decided to throw it into double coverage. Even Brady, as slow as he is running, he would have ran that shit. All right? This was pure panic. Nothing less. Indecision will get you every time. Now, remember what I said about running lanes for quarterbacks, that they don't naturally open up all that often? This was one of them, and ironically, a guy like Rodgers didn't take it. Sometimes these moments are just too big for certain players. They crack under pressure and they do things that are out of character. Some guys thrive in the playoffs. Others are regular season cowboys, but hey, playoffs scare them. With his third regular season MVP coming and another failed playoff run, it looks like that bad man is trying to go for Peyton's title of Mr. Regular Season. Am I being too harsh? Okay. I'll admit, that shot was retaliation on some level, especially against guys like Chris Sims, who craps all over Brady constantly. That idiot is the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, and that was targeted at him. But for the Rodgers fans watching this, I'll do you a solid. What happens next is truly and masterfully ridiculous. The 4th down decision to kick the field goal was absurd. Either Matt LaFleur had no respect for Brady, thinking that he couldn't get a measly 10 yards to end the game, or he had zero respect for Rodgers, that he could score a touchdown with 4 downs instead of 3. Perhaps it's both. But in that situation, let's go back to when it was 1st down. As the head coach, you have to already make your decision on if you're willing to go for it on 4th or not. Rodgers needs to know what his options are. What would I have done if I was the coach? I would have told Aaron when it was 1st and goal that he has 4 downs to work with, and you tie this game for us. And I take my hands off the wheel and let him do his thing. But LaFleur is part of this new trend of moronic head coaches that are infecting the NFL. These analytical types who really want to be the quarterback, but since they can't, they try to be on the field as much as possible, so to speak, right? This idiocy seemed to have really picked up with Sean McVay, who is massively overrated, by the way. The NFL is so unoriginal and jumps on anything for the stupidest reasons. He's young. He got to a Super Bowl. Getting to a Super Bowl, it helps when you have one of the best defensive coordinators in history on your side and have a loaded roster. That doesn't suddenly mean another McVay can resurrect a dying franchise like the Bengals, for example. These guys like McVay, Zach Taylor, LaFleur, and Cliff Kingsbury, or anyone who shared a urinal with Sean McVay, is suddenly getting control of franchises. It's ludicrous. They're too young, they're too cocky, and have absolutely no feel for the game itself. They want to be stars of the game. They want to be the boy genius instead of understanding their place. So yeah, he's had a very good start to his coaching career. Maybe that's what happens when you got Aaron Rodgers, right? But does anyone really believe that it has more to do with LaFleur than who his quarterback is? Come on now. Does anyone really believe that Tampa Bay is in the Super Bowl because of Bruce Arians? And not because of Tom Brady and the influence he has over that team, and that defense who believes they can win, and they're willing to die for Brady, okay? They're willing to die for him. They're willing to get that ball and turn that ball over because they know that Brady will reward them, and Brady knows they will reward him. That is the connection. When Aaron is gone, LaFleur's Packers will be the 80s Packers, before they got Favre. They will suck hard. This is an idiot who spent a first-round pick on a quarterback. He has served absolutely no purpose to help Rodgers or the team. Maybe an actual good pick on a needed position could have been the difference in this game. Maybe not. But we know for sure Jordan Love made no difference. So I'm on Aaron's side on this one. You give him the ball. If you lose, then at least you can say you put the ball in the hands of your best player and that it didn't work out. But to lose like that because you had no balls, no guts, the measly task of getting 10 yards to defeat you. Know your role, little boy. Take the pacifier out of your mouth. Learn how to be a leader. But to sum up, Tom's mistakes weren't costly the way Aaron's was. That's just how it works. When bad things occur matters more than why they occurred. Rodgers, once again, is going to watch the Super Bowl from his couch. This will be the 6th Super Bowl appearance for Tom Brady since Rodgers won his only Super Bowl back from the 2010 season.
Read my lips. Aaron Rodgers choked.
Whoa!
Aaron Rodgers choked. With the money on the line, didn't come through when Tom Brady did, and that's why the Bucs are going to the Super Bowl and the Packers aren't.
Tom Brady actually was really, really struggling in the second half with his 3 interceptions, okay? He was overthrown, he was underthrown, he threw in 3 interceptions, he missed open receivers. Don't get me started with that.
Rodgers had chances in this game where he didn't come through and Tom Brady did, period.
After the 2 turnovers from Brady, I'm thinking that was Rodgers' opportunity right there. That was his moment.
Yep.
And the game was defined in those 2 drives, and they couldn't finish.
Remember, Aaron came to the side and said, you got to get a stop.
He did.
They got to stop. And he goes 3 and out twice.
Twice.
Bucs are going to win this football game.
Great plan, bro. Did a great season. Yeah, way to go.
Take care, man.
You too.
We can now bring along a guy who's pretty responsible for this, number 12 right there, Tom Brady.
Well, we get to enjoy this for a little bit and then get ready to go against whoever we play. It's going to be a great game.
There's some other Rodgers versus Brady arguments I've heard in the past. Let's take a look at them. We'll start with this idea that Brady played with way better players. The most often cited thing is Brady played with more Pro Bowl and All-Pro guys. So I really needed to find out. Now, both of the guys have played a very long time and they're great. Now, I hope you interact here, but most importantly, I hope you subscribe. I respond to everyone who watches the whole video, and I truly appreciate you spending your free time watching our videos. Time is a precious thing, and you're spending it here, and that is awesome. Thank you.
Von Allen Sports.
Hey, Dwayne!
That was outstanding on so many levels.
Look at that torque.